How you doing, everyone? I had to film this for you. We are 9 minutes before the pre-baiting period of day 2 of the Iberian Masters. You probably can't hear a word I'm saying, but I'm doing this anyway to give you an idea of how windy it is. I've drawn a much better peg that I'll tell you about afterwards when you can hear me. But this is what we're faced with. It's very, very windy. I don't know if you can hear me. I wanted to do that so you can just get a bit of a feel for how windy it actually is. It's going to be very tricky casting over there today. On a much better peg on paper, but I'll check in with you straight after the match. Right, we're back again. 5 hours later, it's still very windy. I don't think you're going to hear me very well, so I don't really want to give you a huge download and risk you not being able to hear any of it. So we're 5 hours later now. We just fished 12 until 5. As I said, I'm not going to go into all this because I think it's way too windy, but you can see the peg, just so you know what I'm going to be talking about. Okay, it's 40 metres, but I did end up fishing 42 metres. I inched my way across, and I'll explain to you what happened about that. The top angler, or the top weight here, is going to be this lad here on the end peg. E23 has ended up with 4 carp. I'll tell you what happened in a moment from a different location, because I don't think you're going to be able to hear me properly. And he's had a few Carasio as well. The sun's still shining, there's still blue skies, but I mean, you've seen the peg, but I'll just quickly show it you, just so you know what I'm talking about once I'll start giving you a bit more detail. So a little wind coming down left to right. There we go. Okay, simple setup. You know the setup, you know the score. Got all my spare feeders there. Some people have been asking me about this sort of thing. I've got the bait brolly up, obviously protecting it from the wind, which has been more important actually than protecting it from the from the sun. But it has protected my bait from the sun. Okay, so I've had a selection of feeders under there. Got sticky mag, got some worms there, got some ground bait, just the usual stuff. I've had the same 5 rod setup as yesterday. All right, so I've been using the 12-foot distance pros. Okay, I've 4 of those are 12 foot, one's 13 foot, and I've used the 12 foot, the 13 foot version today to get over there accurately in this stiff wind. All right, and there's the lad on the end peg. He's just had a bit of there's a big bush between us, where he's cast to the back of that bush and he's caught there, but he has had 2 carp at about 16 metres. All right, so that's the peg, that's looking up the section. So I'm just going to give you a proper download where you can hear me, where there isn't any wind. There's no wind in here. I'm obviously in the car now, which you can park behind your pegs here. Basically, it's not going to be a very fancy download this, but I think you get the idea, you get the gist that this very, very new channel is about this raw kind of stuff. It's not about trimming and tarting videos up and that sort of thing. So it's been a very messy, annoying day again. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I don't want to keep putting downers on things. This is a wonderful competition. It's ran exceptionally well, but unfortunately the fishing can be very, very frustrating, and it's really annoyed me today. I've drawn a much better peg today. I've drawn E22, and you can't help but expect to catch a few fish. You know, when you draw a better peg, you think, yep, okay, you might not win anything, but you at least expect to catch a few fish. Is that better? That might be better because this sunshine's quite bright. So there we go. So yeah, of course we had high expectations of catching a few fish. Now there was 11 kilo off this peg yesterday, and that ironically was the lad who was drawn E23 to my right. So yesterday he was second from end peg, and he's drawn the end peg today. But the weights here were better yesterday. Now he's going to have a decent weight because he's got 4 carp and some Carasio. But I think there were, I don't know if he was second in the section here. I'm not quite sure, but you'll probably see that on the section board from yesterday. So if you didn't see yesterday's download, then it is right here on this channel, the Fishing Life channel. Okay, there's a day 1 download, and at the end of that video, I have put the full sheets up, the weigh sheets for this actual section as well. So you'll be able to see that. But yeah, I've started across with sticky mag, hoping for a carp, but obviously you're taking a Carasio if they come. And as it turns out, I was in these last 5 pegs, I've been the last person to catch. Now I personally think that there's something wrong there, you know. That shouldn't happen, you know. I was casting really tidily. One or two of the lads here have struggled casting. They've had a few crack-offs, they've caught the trees, and it has been horrendously difficult. But I haven't had any of that, you know. I've been able to hit the mark all right, and I've fished it really tidy over there. So I honestly felt that I should have caught in that time. You know, there's no way that all those other 4 anglers in this row should have had a fish before me. Because when I say that, I'm talking about me fishing for an hour without a bite. And I'm fishing with maggots, you know, 2 and 3 maggots, 4 maggots. Even if it was just a Carasio. So that bit really annoyed me. And it obviously highlighted that they're probably doing something slightly different. As it turns out, I think the Carasio that they've caught later on, they've caught by using ground bait. And I haven't really gone down that route today. You know, but anyway, to cut a long story short, I've ended up with 2 Carasio, which has kind of got me back. It's got me back in it, actually. I would, you know, and then I've scaled down my feeder, so I've kept the same weight because I needed that to get across there. But I've scaled the size down because I was waiting like 8-9 minutes for a bite, and I felt that the amount of maggots I was putting in with the cage feeder that I had on was way too much for the number of bites that I was getting, if that makes sense. I wanted to feed confidently because we were hoping for carp, but it kept looking like there weren't going to be any carp, and I thought, if we've got to take Carasio. So I cut back on the feed, and that seemed to work really well. I had a little run of fish. It was still taking between 6 and 9 minutes to get bites, but I gradually went ahead of the anglers around me, including the angler on the end peg. But then what's happened is, midway in the match, I've hooked the carp that I've got, and holding my hands up, I was very fortunate to be able to land that carp. I did land it. I was very fortunate. I did film it, and it is on the Iberian Masters Facebook page as well, because the Iberian organisers were behind me at the time filming, and they were filming me actually land the fish. But anyway, I ended up landing the carp. You'll see all that rigmarole and that performance in the film when I put that together for you. But I managed to land it, which was great, a nice bonus. And at the time, I think then I had 4 Carasio and 1 carp. But then what's happened is I've just got really focused on that other bank. I've got a feeder that was nice with the weight that I could be nice and accurate. I found a hook bait that was working, and I went from 4 Carasio to 8 Carasio. And in that time, nobody caught anything around me, you know. And it was like, well, this is going to be plain sailing now. You know, plain sailing. I can focus on that line, just keep putting Carasio in the net steadily, and if any carp come along, hopefully land them. But then it's just gone. Well, I got to 8 Carasio with 2 hours to go, possibly an hour and a half to go, and then I've not had another fish, and that has been it. Now the frustrating thing was, just after that carp, I've also hooked another carp, and I had it under control, but it was still far, you know, close over to that far bank, and it's made a run for the far bank, and I've had to hold it. You know, as you can imagine, when they're running for the far bank, where all those trees and where it's really snaggy, you've got to try and hold them. And I've pulled out of it, and I thought it had broke me, and it hasn't. When I've reeled in, I've got my rig back and everything. So did I pull too hard? I don't know, but if I'd not tried to stop it going to those far bank features, then I may have probably have lost it anyway. So that was really frustrating. I just felt a little bit unlucky there. But there was still 2 hours to go, and I honestly felt the way that I was fishing, that with 2 hours to go, there's every chance I'm going to hook at least another carp. And I haven't hooked another fish. So anyway, the lad on the MPEG E23, he's had a couple more Carasio, but then he's dropped onto his short line, which was about 15 metres. He's fished it differently from me. He's fed it with ground bait and open-ended feeder. And I think he is a Spaniard. I think he is a local. And he hasn't had anything for 20 minutes. He's just been sat there really patient on that line, and before you know it, he's hooked a carp, and he's landed it. He's done well to land it. He's had a few problems with snags and stuff, so he's done well to land that fish. And then shortly after that, he's hooked another one, and that one was even bigger. So he's just overtaken everybody, including me. So that was it. And then with an hour to go, he's not been able to get any bites. So he's picked up his long rod again, and he's gone across. And first cast he's had a Carasio. And then shortly after that, he's hooked a carp as well. So he's had a carp as well. So that's put him on 3 carp from almost nowhere. And then about 20 minutes later, he's hooked another carp. and landed it. So he's ended up with 4 carp, plus the Carasio. And by that stage, it was like, well, he'd just blown all us out of the water. I went on my short line, which I'd primed with mainly maggots, and I've got on that, and with 40 minutes to go, I've had a really big pull. I've picked up, there's nothing there. The bait wasn't touched, so it must have been a liner. And then I've gone in again. I've had a couple of little indications. I've sat on my hands, made sure it was on. It's gone, it's on, and I've hooked it. I don't know if it was a carp, because I didn't really have it on long enough. And I've just got one turn on it, really, and the hook's pulled out, which really annoyed me. And then I've gone in again. I've had another liner, but that never developed. And by this stage, there was 20 minutes left, and I thought, I need to make a decision here. Am I going to cast long and try snare a carp long, or I've had 1 or 2 indications here in liners. Do I stay on this short line? I thought I'll have one more cast on the short line, you know, just to see if any of those liners are carp. I had one more cast and it never moved. So I thought, right, 15 minutes to go. There's nothing else I can do here. So I'll put it down, pick the long rod up, and I've cast long again back to that other bank. And it's only been there 2 minutes. The tip's gone round like one of those carp bites, and I've picked up and it's gone bump, bump, snag. And that's it. It's just snagged me solid. And I've ended up pulling for a break, and I've lost all the kit and everything. So that was with just 5 minutes to go. So with 5 minutes to go, obviously I wasn't going to set another rod up for that line. So I've just picked my short line up, and I've spent the last 5 minutes on that short line, and the tip hasn't moved. So I've ended up with 8 Carasio and 1 carp. Obviously, you know, I think I could have had a couple more Carasio, possibly, if I picked up and hit indications. And obviously that carp I've lost would have made a big difference, but that's it. So it's been a very annoying day, really, because we expected, at least being on a peg like this, to have caught a few fish, even if you didn't win anything. But it's not been like that. Even today has been really, it's been hard work. Lad on my left has ended up with about 5 Carasio, I think he's had. Next one along, he had 1 carp and maybe a Carasio, and so it's not fished very well at all. This lad on the end peg, you know, that is going to be a standout weight today. So that's it. I'm going to go and get packed up. It's obviously not going to be my year, but, you know, I just hope that I'm going to have a bit of an easier day tomorrow. You know, it's just, you know, I've had a few fish today, but it feels like I've really had to battle for every single fish, and it's, you know, you don't want it to be like that. You just want to set your lines up. You want to be able to fish them and hopefully just get a few bites and enjoy your fishing. But it's been a battle all the way today, and I didn't expect that from this better draw. So there we go. I want to get packed away. The good thing is I haven't lost loads of kit today, so I can literally head back to the hotel tonight. Just relax for a little bit. I'll get this video uploaded for you, and I will get the results tonight for you. So I won't upload this video until the results have been posted. Okay, so thanks again for all the great wishes. And yeah, it's we knew it was going to be a test. It's just sometimes it's a little bit too much of a test. And yeah, it's been hard work again today. Well, we've just weighed in, and my fish have weighed a little bit heavier than what I thought. Just over 6 kilo. I heard that there was 1 or 2 8s up there and 9s, so I thought I was going to be way down, but the lad on the end peg, he's done brilliant. Like I say, you know where he's caught, 'cause I've already told you, but he's actually weighed 13 kilos, I think he's had. He will now be winning the competition. He won his section yesterday, so he is now winning the competition. So I've just been told that I think I'm seventh in this 23 peg zone, and I'm not sure if they may be paying out the top 7 of each 23 peg sector. If that's the case, then that'll be nice. But yeah, not the dream day that I wanted, but certainly better than yesterday. So I'm going to check the results out. I'm heading back to the hotel now, and I'll give you a full rundown of what the full results are. Well, it's just on 7 o'clock. We're back in the hotel reception, and the results are up already, which is great, isn't it? So I'll flick round and just show you the results. There's been some really big changes today. You know, some of the leaders from yesterday have suffered really bad days, and yeah, that's what can happen on this venue. You know, it's known for it. But let's have a quick look at the weigh sheets, just so you can see. Spanky's had a good day today. He has had a good day today. He drew a peg today that the lad who's been on my left today, he was on, and he spent all day just losing tackle. really bad, but Frankie's done brilliant. I think he's been 5th today in his section, so that's done him a really good favour. So yeah, so let me just show you the weights. So this is a video, obviously, so you can stop and pause it. I'll go through nice and slowly for you. Sector A, just running right the way through Sector A for you. Sector B, lots of names on here that you know. These, even the nice touch of the flag there, just to show you their nationality. Sector C, Sector D, and then once again, the sector I've been in, Sector E. There we go. So, Jose, who's been on my right today, he ended up winning the section with 13 kilo, Peggy 23, as you know, for 1 point. Francis has been second. Fantastic, Los Unlo Francis. Fish for Ireland. He's a lovely bed and breakfast over in Ireland. He's been on E11, he's had 9 kilo, which net puts my 6 kilo, it's actually 6 kilo 300, not 6 kilo 100, 6 kilo 300, and that's given me 7 points. So that's obviously knocked me up the leaderboard a little bit. So that is the whole of Sector E for you. So let's have a look at the overall standings. So there are your leaders now. Marvin's out in front, 2 section wins. So that's 2 points. Fantastic 29 kilo total. We've got Jose, who's been on my right today. He's also on 2 points. So there are 2 of them on 2 points, 2 section wins. Timo's in third. Then Ralph, and as you can see, if I pan down there really, really slowly, you can look at those. But obviously you can pause this anyway, as it's a video. From the English contingent, Mr. Wakelin has moved up to 10th overall. He had 6 points on day 1, and he's had 2 points today, putting on a total of 8. So that is your top 13. Yours truly jumped up a little bit. That's put me on to 24 points. Better than yesterday, but still not quite good enough. So that's it. We've moved up the leaderboard a little bit. It's been nice, obviously from a points point of view, to have a great day tomorrow. But it's just been nice to finish the trip on a good way, you know, so you're finishing on a high. They're paying out the top 30. I'm not in the top 30 at the moment. So that's the target now, after those first 2 days. Just to try and get into that frame somehow. So all we can do is just see what peg we're drawn and just give it our very best just to finish off this trip on some sort of a high. I will be giving you a download tomorrow, straight after the match, just like today, and I will be showing you some of the presentation as well. So thanks again for all the great messages. Please give this a thumbs up if you want to see more updates like this. And if you want to see this channel grow even more than it is already with this kind of content, please hit subscribe. So that's it. We're going to get something to eat. Might have a couple of beers, and then the light's gone off on us. And then we're going to get a good night's sleep. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.